There's Pete. Let's go cut some trees. I think it's up here. Okay, I went too far. He's back that way. Wrong turn.
This place has a little bit of a bark beetle problem. I've managed it quite carefully, and you can see this whole area has been managed quite carefully. I wasn't planning to harvest yet, although there is some over mature timber here. So what I do is I do what's called a sanitation harvest. That means that you go in, you remove the trees that are infected, and you look all around that area, because they don't go 200 yards, they travel from tree to tree. There'll be what we call pitch tubes. You'll see a little hole with a little bit of white sap where it's run down. That tree's been attacked. There'll just be a little pocket of trees gone, but this whole stand will still remain relatively intact, and you can control it. If we had 50 acres that had 40 or 50% trees like these ones over my shoulder that are dead, you get a situation like they have in BC, where they had incredible forest fire problems out there. If you have thousands of acres of dead trees and a lightning strike, you're going to have a problem. We used to be able to put most of that into pulpwood, but now that the environmentalists and some of our brilliant government officials have shut it down, essentially. Anyway, I'll take you for a walk around and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So there's a pitch tube. That's probably a place where a bark beetle attacked this tree. This is a pretty nice stand, although some of the stuff's a little bit limby. There's some really nice timber here. We're going to try to save all these other trees that aren't fully mature and just do a sanitation harvest. See that where the sap is run down from there? This has purely been attacked by bark beetle, and you can tell if you look up, the top is getting pretty sparse and it's on its last legs. And if you take a look at the area that's open up there where there's all the regen, that's what will happen here as soon as this is opened up. We don't have to plant in this part of Nova Scotia unless everything was clear cut for 1,000 acres around. That's not happening on this lot. We're not into clear cutting unless we have to. This tree here, I can knock it down right down there, and then I can hook onto it with the tractor and pull it out to the road. So this tree has most of its branches that way. So when I have a tree that's got a tendency to lean one way, I start cutting on that side and I stick the wedge in there first. Okay, so I'm going to start. When we make our first cut, it's just slightly above the face cut of the notch, and we try not to cut the corner of the notch off. We call the sides the corners, and we try not to cut them off. We try to leave a hinge right through the tree. How good was that? That was great.
One tree down.
A fair hinge to make sure it wouldn't come back because we had a little bit of wind. And that's what this is. This is called the hinge. And that looks pretty good. The winch on the back of the tractor, it'll pull roughly 5 metric tons and it'll pull a tree down. It's a great tool for small scale logging. So a couple of tricks about this. Don't go too far back on the tree because this leaves more area for it to get stuck. So we want to come this way. And we'll put the hook down low so it tends to lift it up.
One less bark beetle tree to deal with. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Just double check. Cool. It's going. It's always funny when you see GoPro footage and it's always someone like, okay, yeah, it's on.